Hey guys, we're checking out a very unique single-story walkout, somewhat of a two-story, I guess you'd say. Kind of a split floor plan, I'm assuming. It might even be like a tri-level, but pretty cool little house, just here in Kalamazoo, Portage area. So right off the bat, we're going to check. We have one layer, so pretty straightforward. A little bit of a bend in the drip edge there. I'm not sure. It looks like somebody banged it pretty good, maybe at one point. Maybe reused some drip edge, but we can definitely see that it's just roof felt down underneath there. So one of the big negatives that we're going to have, obviously, is snow and everything starts to back up and work its way through this to deteriorate kind of quickly. The other thing we're seeing right off the top is we have nail heads exposed. So you can see those clear as day. Problem with those nail heads, once they start to open up, obviously it's going to start to let water more into the roof, and then once that all starts to happen, see more nail heads starting to pop. Once that all starts to happen, that's when you start to have the water penetration coming down through the roof. So we can see some of these are impacts. So a little bit of that might be from some hail damage over the years. Otherwise, the shingles, like you can see, are starting to deteriorate and disintegrate. We're starting to see some of the fiberglass matting. Pretty prevalent in a lot of these areas. Top of the roof line is going to have the most heat trapped at it, so obviously it's going to be the place that's going to get beaten up the most. But the rest of the roof's in really good shape. So this area over here, you can see the roof, the homeowner is thinking is original to the home, which would date it right around 20-25 years. But down through here, pipe boots, I mean, like you can see, there's no way. Those look almost brand new. So the homeowner bought the house 2 years ago. I'm assuming there's probably some general maintenance done at that point with the pipe boots, maybe a couple other small things. But overall, this is one area of concern. We can see, got a nice cricket installed back here, saddle, but again, we can start to see these nail pops starting to happen. So water's going to start to deteriorate and find its way kind of around this area. I don't know if there's step flashing in around here. Okay, so there we go. So we do have some. So this area down through here is pretty well protected, I would think. But over here, you can start to see the wood deteriorating, starting to break down pretty good. So that flashing is in place, so that's a good thing. What we might want to talk to the customer about is maybe just doing some PVC around the base down here. Maybe even some, probably just some PVC. I think that would look really nice. Be able to cut it, running up on some edges. Run down on that rake edge a little bit. So kind of help profile, cover this up, and match the edging here. But that'll be an option we can kind of talk to them a little bit about. Otherwise, we got a couple skylights that we're going to look to replace, obviously. On the back side here, we do have some step flashing installed in a few areas. Not as prevalent, not as easy to see over here. But on this sidewall, you can definitely see it, which is nice. Again, another, that's a big impact right there. This might be a tree branch or something, but down through here, we can see all that flashing is right installed just as it should be, obviously. Really good to see. So, you know, overall, original installation of the home, I think obviously everything was done really well. Just getting to be that time. There is roof felt consistently throughout the entire roof line. So again, without the ice and water on those eave edges, especially with the sap of the trees and everything starting to beat up on these shingles. I'm actually really surprised that these have held up as well as they have in this area without more streaking going on. Pretty quality shingle, I would say, overall. I mean, it's, you know, it's broken down well. You can see that matting. But once again, I mean, it's held up pretty well. One other thing that we're seeing on this roof, a little bit of deflection, some soft spots and some spots. We'll do an attic inspection to see if there's anything weird going on there. But otherwise, they do have corrugated ridge vent, which is basically just a layered product. It's not a negative, but like you can see, as far as airflow, it really does start to restrict the amount of airflow that we get. And you can see as I do this, a little bit of granule and dust and everything coming out of there. So that starts to clog and fill up over the years. When we put this new ridge vent in, it'll have a mesh material that'll run all the way consistently down the roof line, and it'll be open, exposed grills on both sides so that air can breathe and flow in and out of that very much easy. Down through here, same kind of consistency, you know, some deterioration, no major moss or anything like that, but just starting to get to that point. More nail heads starting to be exposed. Again, just kind of depends on where you look, but there's a couple nail heads popping in a couple of spots. So we'll talk to the customer a little bit about some different options, but we've already talked a little bit. I think this will be a pretty straightforward package as far as the components go. This is going to be one of those aesthetic things, I think, where we want to make sure we get the right color, we get a good warranty, and hopefully we can achieve the price point that the customer's looking to capture. So outside of that, I just want to make sure we get the right package in place for them and let them make their decision.